In this video, we'll explore the content group's featured image option, and this allows us to specify the featured image to include with any page, post or custom post type that we generate. To reference what we're referring to, if we go to the WordPress pages screen and were to add a new page, we see we have the option here to set a featured image, and you would then select the image from your media library or upload a new image to display with that post. In content groups, you'll find the featured image section below the content here, and we support a number of sources including Creative Commons, Pexels, Pixabay and Wikipedia image, as well as a couple of AI services including OpenAI and Midjourney, and then some other options that allow us to select an existing image from the media library or a third-party URL. For most of the third-party services, you'll find that the search parameters are very similar. They will all have a term option here, and then depending on the source that you select, you may have some different options below. So for Creative Commons, we have the ability to determine the image orientation we'd like, as well as the sources where we'd like to get that image from, and the image licenses that we're comfortable using. If we compare this with Pexels, we'll see that we only have the term and image orientation option. And with Pixabay, you'll see a number of additional choices, including the image type, category, and color. In this example, we use Creative Commons, and we are generating a content group to do with interior design services. So we will go ahead and put in modern house interior as the term. So we'd like Creative Commons to give us an image for each of our generated pages that's related to modern house interiors. We're not bothered about the image orientation, sources or licenses, so we can leave those as the default. Moving to the Output tab, these settings will be the same regardless of the source used, and this determines the data that's saved against the image in the media library. So when we run the generation process, the plugin will query Creative Commons, obtain an image, it will import it into your WordPress media library and then assign it this metadata here. I always like to define a title and alt tag, so we'll do interior designers in our location, city name, and we'll copy that and do the same for the alt tag. We could, if we wanted to, define the caption and description. Many themes that display featured images don't typically display this information, but if they do and you'd like to include it, you have the option here. And then for the file name, again, it's recommended to have a file name that's relative to the content you're generating. So again, we'll do interior designers in the location city name keyword. Moving to the EXIF tab, if you're generating pages that are location specific and your images are relative to that location and your keyword contains latitude and longitude data, you may wish to include it here. And this will be stored against the image's EXIF metadata. And this may be beneficial if you're looking to target some Google image searches or similar. In our example, if we quickly look at the keyword that we're using, our location keyword contains the city name, but also the latitude and longitude of each of our images. So we can go ahead and specify the keyword by opening the left curly brace, select our city latitude for latitude, and then city longitude for longitude. We could also include some comments and a description that's stored in the EXIF metadata, interior design, and we'll use the city name, and we could copy and do the same for the description here. Once we're happy with that, we'll go ahead and click Save, and in this example, we'll generate 5 pages for this tutorial, and we'll scroll down and click the Generate via Browser button. After a few moments, we can see that our 5 pages have been generated. And if we go ahead and click on the first result, we can see that we have the title, we have some content, and the theme displays the featured image above our content. And we could go ahead and look at the second one. And again, Creative Commons has given us an image that's related to interior design. If we go into our WordPress media library, we can see the images are here. And in the case of the first one, the title has been set to the title that we defined in the content group. And we have the alt tag as well. And on the right hand side here, we can see that the file name also matched the details that we specified for the featured image section. For AI, we have 2 options at the time of recording this video, Midjourney and the OpenAI image. We'll demonstrate the OpenAI image option here, and we have some different parameters to our other providers. So for Creative Commons, we have a term. When we come to use an AI image source, we have a topic. And this can be seen as the prompt to AI to tell it what image we would like to generate. So in this case, we prepared one here that says a modern interior design of a living room in a minimalistic property. We have the option of the image style to go natural or more vivid. We'll go for a more vivid image. And the rewrite topic option, if enabled, rewrite the topic for safety reasons, and this ensures that we get a good image. If you turn this off, you've then got the option to provide more detailed instructions in the topic should you wish. We'll leave that on yes for now. Our output will be the same, and these settings are the same for most of our image sources. We'll go ahead and save our content group, and then we'll generate. After a few moments, we can see that our 5 pages are generated. And if we go ahead and look at the first result, we can see that we have the OpenAI generated image here of the minimalistic modern interior. And we can go ahead and do the same for the second one. Another option available in the featured image section is the image URL. For example, you may host images yourself elsewhere. Again, this can include keywords. So if you have images hosted somewhere that can be obtained by keyword, you could include this here. In this example, we'll use a placeholder image as a demonstration. And once again, you can see we have options for title, alt tag, file name, etc. We save this and then go ahead and generate our content. We'll see that we have our 5 pages generated, and if we go and look at them, we can see our placeholder image was imported. We can do the same for the second page as well. And if we go to the media library, we can see that our images have been imported and they each have their own file name and title, as well as the alt tag specific to that location. Finally, we have the media library image source. And this allows us to define one or more search parameters to fetch an image from the website's media library. In this example, we have 3 images that already exist in the media library that correspond to the first 3 locations that we want to generate. So we have Abbeydale, Acton, and Barnsley. And what we can do in the search parameters here is we can search by title, caption, alt tag, or description. We've also got options for file names. And I'd like to make sure that every page we generate uses an image from the media library relative to the city that we're generating that content for. So we can go ahead and select the location city name here. I could search on caption, alt tag, or description if I prefer. We also have the option to do that on the file name. The operator allows us to determine whether we want these parameters to all be met in order to import the image, or we can select the any operator. So with the any operator, if I had multiple conditions here, only one of those needs to be met for that image to be set as the featured image here. If I select all of these criteria must be met. Any criteria that are left blank are ignored. And we also below here have the option to use image IDs. So if you're using a specific image ID or you want to select a few images at random from a specific selection. So in this case, if we look at the 3 images that we've got the number here, which is the ID. We also have it here. I could specify these numbers in the image IDs here, or use a minimum and maximum if I prefer. But for this example, we will target by the location city name. Our output is the same. So if we save our content group, and we'll go ahead and generate by a browser, and we'll review our first result, and we can see it's picked up the image of Abbeydale, and that's because if we look in our media library, we can see here that Abbeydale was in the title. If we go and look at our second result for Acton, we have an image of Acton here, and once again that's because the title contains the word Acton. And for Barnsley, we can see we've got the image of Barnsley, and if we go back and look, it's selected this image here because it has Barnsley in the title. In this example, you'll notice that the 3 images have not been edited in any way, despite the fact that we specify the title, alt tag, and file name. And that's because we have the create as copy option when using the media library image source. If this is disabled, the criteria in our search parameters will match an image here and directly use that image as the featured image. However, if we enable this option and we create it as a copy, click Save and generate our pages again, if we now go and refresh our media library, we'll see that we have 3 additional images. And what this has done is it's found the images as before, but this time it's created copies of them and assigned them to the specific pages that we've generated. Advantages of doing this are that we can specify the title and the alt tag and other criteria as specified in the output tab settings here. One of the drawbacks of this is that you will end up with a media library that's full of images that may be replicated or duplicated. And so if you prefer to just reference the original images and save space on your website, then you can select this create as copy option as no. A downside of having this as no is that you won't be able to put in search engine friendly and specific titles and alt tags. So we normally recommend to have this option enabled.